Now let's talk this through by speaking with, looking at the U.S. over the issues around abortion rights and the leaked Supreme Court draft. DebaUwadiae is joining me, who is a publisher of New Americans magazine, who is joining me from Columbus, Ohio, via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us on World Now. A leaked document suggests that U.S. Supreme Court could be poised to overturn the nationwide legal rights to abortion. What might the impact be if Roe versus Wade is overturned and abortion outlawed?
Yeah, it's always been a contentious and complex situation when it comes to the abortion rights law, especially the ruling, the Roe versus Wade of 1973. And it's become politicized, and so you see political parties taking side. And this has always been an issue when a Supreme Court judge is being nominated, in the United States. And when this was leaked this week, it became a very contentious issue where the Democrats and the Republicans, are taking side to say why should a decision that has been made almost 50 years ago, be turned by the same Supreme Court. So it's just shows how it will continue to be a very contentious issue when Supreme Court judges are being appointed by the different political party in power. The Republicans we always want to put judges that protect their interest, while the Democrats will also want to do the same. And so this is putting this in a position, in a situation that and people might start wondering, do we really have justice here?
Well, come to think of it, is abortion a moral issue or more of a sentimental issue as seen among the advocates of this practice, or is it basically a fundamental right as you see it?
Like I said, it's a contentious issue. Maybe I'm not a woman, and they understand, they understand better. But when we look at it, from different perspective, if you are, somebody that is religious, you will say, no, you can't do that. And if we also look at where life is being threatened, and it has to be done, the people in the medical field will advise whether you have to do it or not. Then if we also look at where, you just do it arbitrarily, then it becomes a moral issue. And so that is why I said it's very contentious and very complex. However, if you look at it from different perspective, everybody has, an interest. Everybody has either to go for it or to defend it. And so that's is a case that, it looks at from different perspectives.
Let me see how you reason this. If we think abortion is a right of a woman, as some have actually argued, then what about the right of a child to life?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that it depends on, the different perspective, how you look at it. Like I said, if you decide to do it arbitrarily, that might, be something that should be looked into or looked at, because it's arbitrary. But if it's on health advice, based on health advice, then it's also something that can be looked into. And if it has to do also with the woman herself, what state of mind and situation she finds herself, or how it happened, then it has to also be looked at. Because when you actually look at the Roe versus Wade issue, the situation was that Jane Roe was pregnant with the third child, and she wanted to abort it, and so she went to court. And in Texas, you couldn't do that, So eventually, when the case got to the Supreme Court, she had already delivered. She already had, that third child. But the court decided to go on with the case, saying that it could be something that is that will happen, that will occur. So they decided to take up the case and made that judgment then that it's a constitutional right of a woman, to.
Well, let's quickly look at what a commentator on this issue actually says. The person says, and I quote, "Just imagine if you are born and then unwanted. It occurs to be born and be unloved. The child is going to question his or her very existence until childhood. Of course, if he or she doesn't have mental health issues and commits suicide because of foster care." So what's your thought on this?
like I said, I really, will not be able to take a position, because I'm not a lawyer, and, but as someone that is concerned, no matter the situation, God has, a reason for bringing people to life, and so I will just leave it at that.
Okay, very quickly, before I allow you to go, if states ultimately decide if they will allow people to have an abortion or not, why does it matter if Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade when states can still uphold it?
Yeah, that's why I said it's always been a contentious issue, because some states, have, actually some of them have limited time. Some will say, within these weeks, you cannot, after this week, you cannot carry out, abortion. They have specific weeks that you cannot, go into it. And so probably that is what the Supreme Court now looked at and said, if the federal, law, cannot really cover this, why not allow the states to decide, what happens in different states, whether you can do it in a state or you cannot do it in a state, so that it doesn't become something that, is protected by federal, justice and is not being implemented. I think probably that's why this has come in. And no matter what, it will continue to be contentious. And even if it is turned now, in future, when you have, a political party that the appointees are more, in the Supreme Court, it should be turned. I believe it will be turned again. Which is the problem that, for me particularly, I'm having with the Supreme Court, where it's now looked at as an extension of the Congress.
Well, publisher of New Americans magazine, DebaUwadiae, thank you so much for your
Thank you very much.